Not gonna lie, seeing an old beer bottle get thrown to get the attention of a clicker definitely brought up some old repressed memories of playing these Last of Us games. Hello, everyone. Terrence here with Hollywood Already Did It. If you haven't already, go ahead, like, share, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, ring that bell below. Anytime we have something, you will be among the first to know. We are back. We're cooking with fire. Last of Us Season 2 is upon us finally for what felt like forever. And it's finally upon us. We are picking up with the first episode called Future Days. And for those who didn't go with me while I went through the first Last of Us, and those of you who are now joining now, I am a gamer. And so I have played both of these games. So I'm trying to approach these uh, under the guise that I am sort of ignorant to what is happening in these stories, but sort of enjoying the story. And so I'll from time to time will tell you a little bit of the difference that are happening from the game to the show. But for the most part, I'm going to be talking about the show in itself solely, and acting as if my gaming brain is turned off. But every now and then it clicks in when I'm like, I played this part. Oh, it's about to get real. So this episode picks up right at the end of the last season when Joel and Ellie are on that cliff, and she asks him real quick, like, "What did you do?" and asks him if what he is telling her about the Fireflies is true. That basically they have decided, like, "Hey, this isn't going to work. They're going to attempt to do this a different way." And she looks him dead in the eyes and says, "Hey, tell me that this is true." And he says, "I swear." Knowing that both he knows that that's a lie, and you can read off of her face the way that they're acting, where they're portraying this, that Ellie also feels that this is a lie. But she's at an age and young enough at that point in time where she can't really do anything about it. This is her person. This is who she has, and she just accepts it and says, "Okay," and they just carry on and go on. And both of them knowing that what he is saying is BS. They both know it. But in this moment, they're both too afraid to deal with what the ramifications are if they peel back those layers to talk about what just took place. And this is where the show then takes a bit of a turn. It happens pretty early. We introduce Kaitlyn Dever as Abby, who I'm just going to say this to everybody: protect Kaitlyn Dever at all costs. Abby is with Owen and some of her other team members, and they're at basically a gravesite for fireflies, because they are on the ramifications, the receiving end of what Joel's antics did to free Ellie. They are all casualties of this. They've all lost someone because of this, and they know that Joel or Joe, they have a vague name and a vague description of Joel, and sort of that he's handsome, but they know that that is the person who is responsible for this. But they also know that they're 3 days behind wherever he may have gotten off to, and they're sort of low on supplies. So Owens, being the level-headed one of them, say, "Hey, we should go ahead and reset. Maybe go to Seattle, get ourselves together, and then go find Joel to sort of get our revenge. And like when we get there, Abby, I promise you, I will do everything possible. I will help you. We will kill this man." That's all that Abby is seeing. She is bent up and fed up with anger. Um, and she's like, "Cool, we're going to do this, but when we do this, we are going to kill him slowly. Like, I want him to suffer." And that's sort of all we get with Abby in this episode till the book end. I say this is a difference because this is playing out a lot more linearly than I think the game did. The game sort of gave us the viewpoints of both Ellie and Abby. And so you get Abby's story a lot later, and it's unfolded a lot later. Here, we are aware out of the gate what Abby's intentions are with Joel and what he wants to do and what she wants to do with Joel. Whereas in the game, when we first meet Abby, it is a little unclear of what her modes are at the very beginning. We get there pretty quickly, But at the very beginning, we don't get that. And so that's a sort of a choice that we've sort of switched. And I'm wondering if it's because maybe the cat's kind of out of the bag of who Abby is and what Abby is planning to do. And so we're now just going to play this for the heartbeat and the story beats to give her character an arc as well as giving Ellie that arc. So you have to do that. You can't really do what the game did and sort of back in all of it to Abby on the back end because then you'll spend half the season without even having Abby present. So you have to sort of splice it in a little differently here. And I'm okay with that. We then have a 5-year jump, which I got to say, it's the only thing that sort of plays in the back of my head is a bit of a problem. And it's no fault of anybody's here. Just the games were done so separately apart, but we do the show so separately apart. Bella Ramsey has not physically aged that much. You can age up everybody else. You can put gray hairs in Joel. They've done a great job of aging him up. All the other characters sort of age around her. She herself still has the same face. She has not grown up any more than what she did to have a 5-year jump. So the only differences that you really get is sort of seeing an arm tattoo, and you see her doing things that a 19-year-old teenager would do, like getting high, drinking. You hear of those things, but the physical traits of her still look young, and so it's a little bit of a jarring thing to be like, oh, this was her. This is her at 14, and this is her at 19, and she looks the same. A 14-year-old and a 19-year-old are drastically going to look different. So that's my only sort of one kind of, I'm butting up against that. But there's nothing you can do. You're not recasting. This is who it is. So here we are. We catch up in 5 years with Ellie sort of doing a Fight Club training montage with Jesse. She's sort of learning to take punches, get physical, to get better. I think that's a piece that is important where this show goes towards the end, where we take things that Ellie is a little bit more prepared to take one-on-one battles and one-on-one fights so that she can take care of herself. And I think that is very much what she is trying to do in this moment. She is trying to show that, hey, I don't always need Joel to protect me or to save me or to get me out of a jam. I can do these things by myself. And because of what is looming over both Joel and Ellie, she does not want him to do anything for her anymore. She wants to be able to make that choice herself. She doesn't feel like she had a choice in the matter previously. She was like, Joel made the choice for her, and now she wants to do everything possible. You can see it all in the recklessness stuff that she does in this episode. She wants to do things on her own because of the choice that Joel made, and that she didn't really get to say in that matter. Dina checks in with Joel, and Dina and Joel have a much better relationship currently than Joel and Ellie. Dina comes in to check in about some other stuff and asks about the obvious strain in a relationship that has occurred between Ellie and Joel. She's like, everybody can see it, everybody knows what's going on. What's up? And Joel's like, I don't know. She's just being a typical teenager. And he starts using some therapy lingo that Dina quickly deduces, like, oh, you're in therapy. And Joe's like, please don't tell anybody. And Dina's like, I'm cool. I'm not going to tell anybody. You got it. Mum's the word. We then see Tommy and Ellie on the mountaintop, the snowbank mountaintop, sort of sniping off clickers and infected as they arrive with a new scope that she's got. They're having a conversation, and the relationship that she has with Tommy is kind of what she used to have with Joel in the first episode. I mean, the first season. But Tommy is telling her, like, okay, look, I'm going to pull you off of patrol and put you on gate duty. And she's like, gate duty? I'm just standing there. Why the hell would I do gate duty? And Tommy lets on that Joel is the one who's making this call for him. And again, she is trying to do everything possible to say, if Joel is giving me orders or Joel is making a choice for me, I'm telling you to kick rocks. I want to make a choice for myself. I'm being in addition to just being the 19-year-old girl who wants to be for herself, she knows that there's this looming thing that no one speaks about. Joel and I don't speak about, that's over our heads, that I need to kind of take the onus and do my own thing. And so she gives Tommy pure hell. And Tommy eventually acquiesces and is like, all right, fine, you can stay on patrol. Despite her having some previous reckless moves on patrol before, not following rules, not following the protocols that they have, but Tommy lets in and says, all right, fine, you can go on a patrol. Back at the the town, Joel is having a conversation with Maria, who is Tommy's wife, but is also like the co-chair, co-head of this entire village. And Maria's like, we're running out of resources and finances and locations. We need to start building faster. And Joel's like, nah. What we need to do is stop letting people in. We keep letting folks in. We are good. Send them somewhere else. And Maria was like, huh? Why are you talking like that? We can't do that. You know that's not a thing. And Joel's like, I would like to take in everybody, but we just can't. Maria quickly reminds him that, hey, at some point in time when you first got here, you are a refugee. So let's be a little bit easier with this thought process you have now. We then go to see Joel meeting with Catherine O'Hara's character Gail, who is the therapist, the town therapist, sort of. Um, and she's drunk. She's drinking. She's been drinking. It's her birthday. She's feeling away, but she has some very good information and thoughts about the way that Joel and Ellie's relationship is going currently. Joel lets on to her that, hey, the idea that you gave me to say back off, let her sort of be herself and grow, has backfired. It's like I have backed off. I've given her space, and she has taken that space, and now doesn't even acknowledge that I'm a person. She just sort of head nods at me away from far distances. I've given her a garage to go live in, so I never get to see her. She just kind of goes to her garage, and I I'm I don't know what to do. Like I've lost my kid, my daughter, and Gail's like, "Oh no, boo hoo hoo! You lost your 19-year-old." And he mentions that like Dina connects with me more than it's like she's like, "I don't want to hear any of this because you're leaving out a key point of this. However much you are saying to me, you are not saying what the big elephant in the room is. Like you're leaving something out purposefully. I've done this enough to know that you are actively leaving something out. What is that? For instance, let's have a conversation because I'm leaving something out. I said I was angry. Said I've been drinking. It's my birthday. I'm pissed at you. I hate looking at your face because I know you are the man responsible for killing my husband Eugene, who is now gone. First time that after 41 years, he's gone. He's out of my life because of you. And this is what it is. And I want to punch your face. I want to do everything to you, but I also knew you had a reason to do what it is that you did, and so I have to just live in it. Your turn. Tell me what it is that you have that's hanging over your head and that you need to get off your chest. What did you do to her? Like, what did you say to her? What happened between you guys? And he just says, "I saved her." That's his reasoning. So for him, he's like, "Look, I did as a father to a daughter. I did what I was supposed to do. I saved her. Be damned of what that did to anybody else. What ramifications? What butterfly effect it had on anybody else or the world because of Ellie's condition of being one person who could possibly heal everyone." So we see Ellie back in the garage getting prepped, going on patrol, and Dina comes to meet her. Dina quickly tries to connect her back with Joel and try to say, "Hey, I'm going to go watch movies with your dad. You want to come with me?" She rebuffs it, like, "Nah, I'm not going to do that." They head out for patrol. And Jesse's there. Jesse was the one who was giving her the Fight Club orders and rules previously. Jesse is there, and he's sort of the command of the patrol, and he gives them orders to what it is that they need to go do on their patrol. And there's a brief moment where we can sort of see that Jesse flirts with Dina. Ellie clocks it and feels the type of way because Ellie is starting to feel things for Dina. Um, but that sort of ends there, and then they head out on patrol, and then we quickly learn that there's been an on again, off again relationship that has occurred between Dina and Jesse. Ellie's like just knows like you guys are gonna get back together. Guys always get back together, and Dina's like, nah, it's not happening this time. And then at that point, the Dina starts sort of asking like, hey, do you have a date for the New Year's party? And Ellie's like, no. And Dina, in a roundabout way, is like, well, you should invite me. Now, context clues say that you can sort of tell that Dina's kind of like throwing it out there, like, "Hey, take me," but Ellie's not picking up on that signal. And we see a moment later that sort of before we get the inciting incident that occurs, where it is clear that Dina has sort of led on that she has feelings for Ellie, but Ellie's sort of just not picking those things up. But on the patrol, they find a spot where there's blood. There's a blood trail. They find it. Ellie and Dina go ahead. They clearly are reckless. They go ahead of the patrol. Kat just stays back. And they follow the trail to a bear that has sort of been dismantled by all of these clickers. But it's been multiple clickers that were needed to do this, to take down this bear. Ellie and Dina then deduce that there are probably another clicker or two inside this market that, hey, might be time to go do some recon and go and go take these folks out. And so they go into the market, um, and go to dispatch of the two clickers that are in there. This is where we get the bottle sequence. I was like, bringing up old traumas. um, After they kill the two clickers, there's a weak floor that is there, and Ellie falls down a floor to the first floor of the market. Dina can't get down there the same way, so she tries to go find a stairwell to access to the first floor. And while she's down there, Ellie is hunting and being hunted by an infected that seems to be of a higher intelligence than the typical infected. It's hunting her, it's hiding, it's moving in shadows, it's moving secretively. When she turns around, it hides. So there seems to be a level that they are now increasing their intelligence. Because of that, this one gets the drop on Ellie. Luckily, Ellie is infected proof. She can't get be infected, but she gets bitten on her stomach, and then Ellie takes a gun out, shoots the infected right before Dina comes down, and then Ellie's trying to hold her shirt down and then zip herself up because there's a big bite and it's bleeding. So she tries to close that up so that Dina can't see it. They then have to go give that information to like a board with that Maria and Tommy or see over, and Ellie just tells them like, "Hey, I think these infected are growing in intelligence." And Tommy's like, "Got it, okay, cool." Dina signs up and is like, "Yeah, no, they are." Nobody believes that Dina actually saw this, but they do believe that Ellie is telling the truth. So they dismiss the panel. It's New Year's. They're about 4 hours away from the New Year's party, and so they're like, "Okay, we'll reconvene. We'll talk about this at another time." But it's good to clock that and know that. Joel comes to see Ellie after she does a little bit of patchwork on her bite, so that it doesn't look like a bite. And they have one of the most awkward conversations that you could possibly have between a father and a daughter. It's just uncomfortable how awkward it is. And it's clear that Joel wants to get in and get out of there and maybe sort of try this again at another time. So he goes in and grabs the guitar. He's like, "Hey, your strings need to be restring. You still play? Cool. I'm gonna go take this out and you could come get it tomorrow." And he just takes off. We then get the dance sequence, which is a big piece of the game, and a lot of people got a little heated about one of the sequences that happens in this. But at the party, Dina is having a ball with a random person. It's not Jesse or her. She's been drinking, having a good time. She's enjoying life, right? Ellie is kind of standing off to the side, and Jesse comes up and it's like, she's putting on the show, and he is saying that in a way that he's like, but he's not. She's not doing that for me. She's doing that for her, but Ellie's too dense a little bit to take it in. Ellie says, "Hey, Jess, you guys are going to be back together in a couple of weeks." And Jesse's like, "Nah, it's not happening this time." Not clicking that Jesse knows who Dina truly is there for. Once she gets done dancing with whomever the rando that she's dancing with, Dina comes over, takes Jesse's drink, downs it, and then grabs Ellie. And Jesse just kind of moves on because he knows that's who she's going after. And then they get really close on that dance floor and start hugging. Ellie's kind of like, "Wait, hold on. Wait, what is going on?" She's very confused. And then she's not so confused. Tina's like, "I'm laying this on." Takes her hands and puts them on her hips, and then starts like putting her lips near her ear. And then she eventually kisses her. And then Ellie kisses back. And it's like, oh, yeah, Ellie has somebody. She's not the only one. There's somebody there that kind of wants her. It's in a world where she doesn't feel like she has choices. This is a cool sequence to sort of know, like, oh, the person that I want wants me back. As a 19-year-old, as a teenager who probably has not had many options, that's a cool thing. It turns quickly because there's a man there who says, "Hey, take that gay stuff out of here." He calls them a derogatory term for lesbians, and Ellie's about to give him the once over. Not before Joel gets there, it knocks him clear on his ass, and then says, "Hey, you need to get out of here." Um, at that point, that Ellie cusses out Joel and's like, "I don't need you to fucking defend me. Like, I don't need you here." And so, like, for a person who has been trying to do all of they can for the last 5 years to take ownership of themselves, to make choices for themselves, to do some reckless things, but to do it for herself and not have Joel, their dad, come in to do it. In that one moment, that meant a lot to her. She just had that taken away from her because Joel sort of stepped in. Joel was thinking, "Hey, I'm trying to save my girl. Like, somebody's being rude to my daughter. I'm going to put my foot in their ass." Ellie's kind of like, because we haven't had a conversation about the big thing that's looming on over us, I don't need you to do this. Stop helping me. It's heartbreaking to see both. She's in a lot of pain and anger about not getting the truth from Joel and knowing that he was lying, and Joel is in pain because he had to lie, but also because he can't have the connection that he had with her that he did 5 years ago. Joel goes back to the house and is playing the guitar on the front, and Ellie just passes by her, passes by him looking furiously. And we see in one of the tubes that are attached to the town, there's fungus that is starting to grow and kind of evolve, like the infected that we see is starting to evolve. And then we get the final shot. Because while we started at the beginning of the episode with Abby and Owen and her crew, we finally see that they have landed and found out where the village is. So we can see them coming out of the snowbank, coming out of the trees, and seeing from afar the village. And she is looking pissed. And that is how the episode ends. A really solid first episode. We get a tension moment in that market with Dina and Ellie. We get the thesis and point of this episode is to sort of lay out how broken Ellie and Joel are, and how the decisions that Joel made for her are having a negative effect on her. And we shall see once the Abby piece of everything sort of comes in, and what could or could not happen. We shall see how much guilt falls on all parties that are involved in this. And I like the fact that they've sort of put the linear version of this in Abby, because I think it creates for a better story. When you're playing the game, you get to do that. You get to play both sides. When you're not playing both sides, you sort of need Abby's stories to come make a little bit more sense at the beginning. But yeah, this is a great launch off. Great to be back in this world. I think sooner rather than later, a lot of people are going to have a lot of thoughts and feelings about certain people on this show. And I am here for it, but I also want to protect all actresses that are involved in this show. What did you guys think about the first episode called Future Days of Last of Us Season 2? Go ahead and leave your thoughts and comments in the comments below. If you haven't already, you can follow us on X at HollywoodABI. You can hit us up on email at HollywoodAlreadyDidIt@gmail.com. We also have a podcast for the same name. That's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere that plays podcasts, we're there. And like always, I got my ticket. You got yours.